What's going on, everyone? So it looks like we have reports that Christian Wood is the Lakers' target. And the Lakers are kind of waiting around for Christian Wood to see what happens and what develops, and that there's been internal discussion and belief that they can make it work with Christian Wood. Some Laker players, again, based on reports, don't really want Wood, but the Lakers believe that they can make it work, right? So we're probably playing this waiting game for Christian Wood. But whether we get Christian Wood or not, we still need a sizable center. Like the Lakers need a center, especially if they're going to start Jackson Hayes or even run any attempts of that, right? Because Christian Wood, can he play center in a pinch? Sure. Is he a center? No. He's a power forward. He is a great power forward at that, a guy that has the ability to score. But if you're putting him as your defensive wall to block shots and be a defensive deterrent, probably not looking very good. Now, Christian Wood has the ability to block shots. He can play. We've seen him play defense in spots. He's even had years with other teams where he's actually been pretty good. Like he had that stint with Detroit where he was actually solid. He wasn't great or anything like that, but he's a guy that can be defensive. Could you go and get Bismack Biyombo? Sure. Shot blocker, defensive guy, but he's 6'8", right? He's not a guy that you're throwing at the bigger centers. He's a guy that, he's got a lower center of gravity. He's got some good size to him. He's got like a 7'6" wingspan. But regardless, whether the Lakers end up with Christian Wood or Bismack Biyombo or whomever, there is the need for a sizable center. And going that route of getting another sizable center. Again, especially if you're going to start Jackson Hayes. If you have any intention of playing AD at the 4 for any heavy doses throughout the course of the season, then you need another center that you can come in and have provide that backup minutes. That isn't Christian Wood and isn't Bismack Biyombo. Now, could they go Christian Wood at the 5 and AD at the 4 to start? Sure. But I kind of feel like that's a little redundant, right? You might as well just start AD at the 5 at that point, right? Because then what? You're just going to have AD at the 4 on defense, and it's just like you're just going to get killed, and he's going to have to be the help defensive player anyway. So I don't know. I really hope the Lakers go and try to get a bulkier center. But what are the options here? Now, obviously, they could go and sign like a Myers Leonard, go like a veteran route, go get like a Hassan Whiteside as somebody I really would like to see. You have DeMarcus Cousins, Dwight Howard has expressed that, hey, he wants to come to the Lakers. He compared the Lakers to like that ex-girlfriend that you just want to make it work with. None of those options are really like super stand out. Myers Leonard wouldn't be bad because his ability to stretch the floor and gives you like some good size and a guy that you could throw out there in a pinch. I don't think that would be a bad scenario. The other option would be just waiting it out and seeing what the buyout market presents, right? Because you're probably going to have some guys get bought out going into the season, right? Right before the season. Or if not, you just kind of weather the storm and deal with what you got. So let's say we do get Christian Wood, right? Lakers sign Christian Wood, and let's say you're running a 3 big man unit of Wood, Hayes, and Anthony Davis. Cool, fine, no worries. Ride that out, weather the storm, get through till you get to the trade deadline in the buyout market, and then go and look and hope that a center ends up happening, right? And if not, then you go and you get, at that point, a Hassan Whiteside or a DeMarcus Cousins, or, if Myers Leonard is still out there or whatever, right? Because some of these guys that are still on the market right now very well might still be on the market come that time. Like, worst case scenario, you go get like a Serge Ibaka or something like that, right? Like, there will be options, even if no real center gets bought out. But, maybe somebody does, right? Like, maybe Chicago decides to tear it down and they end up buying out, Andre Drummond. And, he's humbled himself. He's been one of the better backup centers in the league. A guy that could block shots and rebound, which would be great for the Lakers. Maybe you go get somebody like him off the buyout, or whatever. Maybe Toronto wants to tear it down and Jakob Poeltl ends up getting bought out or something like that. I'm not saying it will, but you never know, right? We've seen stranger things happen. When Andre Drummond got bought out and signed with the Lakers, like that was a real shocker. Because at that point, he was one of the best centers in the league at the time. He was a legit 2010 guy. And he wanted out, and they ended up buying him out, and they were able to make it work, right? And unfortunately, the Lakers, it just didn't work with Andre Drummond. They just weren't able to figure it out. And look, Andre Drummond has really humbled himself and whatnot, but we'll see. Time will tell, right? The buyout market could very well lead to the answer for the Lakers, right, in that regard. The other option is the Lakers just go and make a trade. Now, the Lakers wouldn't be able to do this anytime soon because most of their guys I don't think can be traded till like the end of January anyway. So basically you're looking at around the trade deadline. But there were reports that came out that the Lakers are looking at Valanciunas, that the Pelicans want to trade him at some point and are looking to try to get a new center that they could have kind of long term, and that they want to just unload Valanciunas and get something for him because he's a free agent after this season and they don't want to just lose him for nothing. But he's a guy that's not going to get a ton of just return. So he'd probably be cheap. So could you work something out where maybe you trade D'Lo and you get Valanciunas in another piece? Even if it's not Valanciunas, right? You never know. Like, what if Miles Turner comes out on the market again, right? Maybe the Lakers could work out a deal and go get Miles Turner. Or Nikola Vucevic, right? If Chicago decides to tear it down, maybe you could go get Vu and maybe you get Drummond or something like that, right? And you work out some deal. I don't know. I mean, you never know what's on the market until it becomes available on the market. And then all of a sudden it's like, all right, well now we're in a position to where we can go get a guy. Maybe Toronto decides like, hey, let's trade OG Anunoby. Let's trade Pascal Siakam. There's already talks about them talking to teams and maybe looking to move him. And they're like, all right, well, we're going to kind of tear this down. Let's trade Jakob Poeltl. So maybe the Lakers can go and make a push for him and acquire him. You never know. Again, like that could be the route that the Lakers go. The Lakers want Austin Reeves to kind of play the point guard position more. And if that ends up happening, well, then D'Angelo Russell's probably the odd man out, right? And look, D'Lo is more than capable of playing the two and play off the ball. But you got Gabe Vincent, and if you have Austin Reeves play the point, right? And you also have LeBron James if you needed to in a pinch, then D'Lo really becomes expendable. And he's a guy that many people think that the Lakers are going to trade at some point this season, especially since they convinced him to waive his no-trade clause. So do the Lakers at some point, do they look to move him and try to go get that center? Maybe that's their goal all along, right? Like, hey, we need a center, but there's not really any centers that make sense right now. So let's just kind of be patient, wait it out. We can ride out the season until the trade deadline. Again, you have Anthony Davis, Jackson Hayes. If you get Christian Wood, you got Christian Wood. If, knock on wood, Anthony Davis misses any extensive time, you could always just bring in Colin Castleton or something like that. Or maybe then at that point, maybe then you sign like a Myers Leonard or something on a non-guaranteed deal. That could be an option. And the Lakers just kind of look to weather this season at the center position until they're able to go and acquire some type of trade for, a Valanciunas or a Jakob Poeltl or Miles Turner or something like that. Or, maybe it's somebody else that comes up, right? Detroit's got like 15 centers. Maybe it's even somebody like a Kelly Olynyk, right? There are reports that the Utah Jazz are actually interested in D'Lo. Kelly Olynyk is a 7-footer that can stretch the floor and is just, he's got a good passing game and stuff. He's, tough, hard-nosed, right? As in a backup role, I don't think that he would hurt at all. And he could kind of end up being the odd man out. So, do the Lakers kind of work something out with Utah again and, maybe send D'Lo there and get a Kelly Olynyk and somebody else, Colin Sexton or something like that if they want to get off Sexton. There's always that possibility. Again, just kind of throwing out ideas there. I'm not saying that that is something that will happen or something that you should expect to happen, but it's just there's not really a ton of options out there as far as like the center position goes. It's kind of like the old guys, and even DeMarcus Cousins, he got hurt in Puerto Rico, and then Dwight Howard, he was pretty bad last time he was with the Lakers, and then also there was just the drama going on with him, and Anthony Davis fighting on the bench, and him just having issues in the locker room, and it's like, how many times are you going to keep bringing your ex back, right? It's like, at some point you're just like, stop bringing them to the party type thing, right? And it's just, I don't know, like, I'm still a fan of like a Hassan Whiteside, personally. Just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like the Lakers are super pumped and interested in that. The Lakers didn't even like give him a workout. At least there weren't any reports of it. Then there were reports about like DeMarcus Cousins and other guys, and yet nothing on Hassan Whiteside, which character issues, locker room issues. But we've seen guys out of the league, and all of a sudden they become very humble, right? That's something that could have very well happened. But we'll see. Time will tell. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think the Lakers should go and sign a player now, or do you think like, no, if you get a Christian Wood or a Bismack Biyombo, just kind of ride it out and see what happens with the buyout market, see what happens at around the trade deadline. Maybe you could go pick up a center that could be a starting center or a backup or whomever. How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments.